Bada bing, bada boom. You know what it is. Let's go. Geeks are back on the scene. We got a picks and prediction video going down. UFC Kansas City, Arnold Allen versus Max Holloway. A sleeper card. This is going to be a good one, especially the main card. It's got some really good fights on it. People don't know about. Let's get into it quickly. We're going to shout out Jorge Masvidal, just retired. Geeks were on the scene. UFC Miami, super necessary. We got the limited edition 5-second knockout. Let's go. Shout out the kid, Jorge. Great career. Check out our Geeks vlog. We were there. Into the first fight.
You.
Into the first fight of the main card. We have got two Fort Myers boys in the chat here, and we got a Fort Myers boy entering the octagon. Clay, the Carpenter Guida, the vet, 38-22, coming out against Rafa Garcia, 15-3. How did his head heal so fast? We don't know. We'll never know. Let's get after it. Clay Carpenter, always a live dog. I'm not siding with him in this one. I want to with everything I got. I want him to win this fight. But when I think about who's really going to win this fight, I'm taking Rafa Garcia. Rafa Garcia, so tough, so durable. This guy knows how to grind out fights. And that's kind of how Clay Guida wins. He grinds out fights. He gets a lot of takedowns. He gets a lot of control. Even if it's on the feet, he likes to do that lateral motion. You know, a lot of lateral motion. And he is crafty throwing that overhand in. He can rock some people. But Rafa's got a crazy good chin. His wrestling's going to stand up here. And I really like where his striking has come so far. So I think that Rafa stands this up. It turns into a back and forth barn brawl. And I'm taking Rafa to edge it out. Definitely, like I said, Clay Guida, live dog. But just where they're at right now, I think this is a fight set for Rafa to win. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, his last fight, bro, he had what was it in his head? It was a
Artery.
yeah, he had an artery absolutely sliced open. This guy was bleeding like I've never seen blood before, and still found a way to tough it out and get through that fight. That was so impressive to me, and that's kind of the exact mindset you need to beat a guy like Clay Guida. I'm taking Rafa. What do you got, Dano?
I'm taking Rafa all day. I feel like Clay Guida is just getting way too up there in age. We saw him live in Orlando. He did get the win, but he didn't even look too great in that one. He got the win against Scott Holtzman, who ended up retiring after that fight, which just shows you where he was in his career. But like you were saying with that cut on top of your head, I was thinking to myself, it was pretty quick. Hopefully it doesn't open back up. But then I was thinking Clay Guida is really not too dangerous in that sense to where he is cutting people. He would open up someone like Rafa, who's as durable as it gets. Because Clay Guida is not great on the feet, just flat out not great on the feet. He does like wrestling, but if he gets to the ground, it's kind of more just like suffocation type wrestling, more so than a lot of damage. He's just kind of staying on top of you, moving positions, trying to get some subs here and there. He's not really throwing, big punches down or elbows down. I feel like if Garcia is really going to want to win this, he just got to control the middle of the octagon. Don't let Clay just like set his feet and get those takedowns going. Just like you were saying, Clay Guida likes to move horizontally. Keep him moving horizontally. I feel like those takedowns, especially an older man, takedowns while moving side to side are a little bit more easy to stop than someone who has his feet planted coming right at you. So Rafa, just keep moving, keep those hands going, keep those legs going, and I think you will coast in this one.
What you got, Goose?
This one hurts. This one hurts. All right. But part of being 41 in the UFC, you're going to have some unfavorable matchups towards the end. And I think that's what we got here. All right. Rafa Garcia, very similar style to Clay Guida. He's just 13 years younger and literally in the prime of his career. He's coming off a few good performances. Losing to Drakkar Close isn't bad. Clay Guida, live dog. Like, I don't really want to pick against him here, but Rafa Garcia is going to be the pick for me. I'm going to leave it at that.
Sounds good. This one we're coming into next is a very good scrap. This is a 35er, bantamweight boot. Pedro Munoz, 19-7, coming out against Chris Gutierrez, 19-3-2. Dude, these guys look like brothers. Let's put that out there right now, because if you told like a casual fan, like, oh, this is Pedro Munoz, showed him a picture of Pedro Munoz, he'd be like, yeah, And then you show him a picture of Chris Gutierrez, he'd be like, yeah, you know, like it's actually crazy. Now, stylistically, these guys also match up identically. So this is just going to be such a good fight for me because I think Chris Gutierrez, I think like devastating leg kicks. And then I think Pedro Munoz, and I just think like pestering leg kicks, volume leg kicks. So I think it's going to be a battle of, you know, who's really getting their shots off. And I think it's going to be a stand-up bout. I mean, these guys are just so fast, so quick. They scramble so fast. This is going to be a banger through and through. So I'm going to take Chris Gutierrez in this one. Just having a little bit more sting. I think Pedro Munoz is more of a point fighter in the days that we're in right now. He likes to kind of like get through decisions, kind of outclass people in a way. So I'm gonna take Chris Gutierrez, just kind of put a beating on him through 3 rounds. Not like domination per se, but clearly win 3 rounds 30-27 in this bout where he's getting the leg kicks off and he's the one unleashing the combos. I'm gonna leave it at that. Chris Gutierrez decision 30-27. What do you got, Goosey?
It's gonna be Chris Gutierrez for me. This is another one where similar styles. I think Gutierrez, obviously the younger fighter, more in his prime here. Munoz on the back end of his career, not the best matchup for him either. He's a little bit smaller. He likes to get the leg kicks and power punches, where Gutierrez is going to have a little bit more length on the kicks. He likes to keep those straight punches at bay. Very good chin and a better gas tank than Munoz. We've seen him come out, have very good first rounds and not the best round 2 and bad round 3. I think that Chris Gutierrez 29-28 decision. Munoz, that chin's probably not going to crack. I think he does win the first round, lose the last 2. Chris Gutierrez decision, that's the pick for me.
He's really good in that first round. Dano, what do you got? I'm with you guys. I like Chris Gutierrez in this one. You guys pretty much said everything that I was thinking. A lot of momentum behind Gutierrez. Retired, one of the GOATs, Frankie Edgar. So just he's going to keep that momentum going. We're back in another packed arena in Kansas City. He's one of those guys that likes being in the crowd. He's kind of got a crowd-friendly style. So does Pedro Basillo, like you're saying. I feel like even though they kind of got similar styles at these points in their careers, Gutierrez is just a better fighter in that style. So I think he's going to take it.
Fair enough. That's a sweep right there. And not to mention, Pedro Munoz last time out had a scratched cornea on his eye. That was the Sugar Sean fight where he did bank the first round against Sugar Sean, literally only using leg kicks, which was extremely weird to watch. But, you know, the fight ended. He said he couldn't see. A lot of people questioning that. But if he really couldn't see and had a scratched cornea, you can only imagine that's probably going to have effect on him coming into this fight. So we'll leave it at that. Clean sweep, Chris Gutierrez. We're moving into the next one. We got a 205er scrap. This is Ion Cutelaba, the Hulk man, 16-9-1, coming out against Tanner Bozier, 29-1. I'm gonna take Tanner Bozier here, just because I feel like I can trust Tanner a little bit more. Cutelaba, kind of a freak of nature in the sense that you've no idea what the hell this guy's gonna do at any moment. And he does fall off a cliff. His gas tank, hasn't been the best. So I'm going to take Tanner Bozier to get through round 1 because that's where this is most likely going to go down. If Cutelaba is going to secure a win, I see him doing it explosively in the first round. But if he can't get that explosive finish on Tanner, which is what I'm kind of banking on here, I think Bozier can kind of outclass him in those last 2 rounds. It's going to be interesting to see if he can stay on his feet, though. So we'll see how Cutelaba's wrestling pans up against Bozier. And I'm going to bank that it's not the best results. So not my best, most confident take, but I'm going to ride Tanner by a slight majority decision. What do you got, Dano?
I'm all over Cutelaba in this one, and I know that's a risk because Cutelaba is such a wild card. But like I was talking about the Jillian Robertson fight back on the prelims, we got someone who's switching weight classes, right? And I feel like sometimes people switch weight classes to get a change up in their career, but other people switch weight classes to really just kind of desperately save their career, switch things up. I feel like Bozier, not much was going for him at heavyweight. He lost 3 out of his last 4. And just heavyweight these days are just starting to get better. So I feel like he's like, I got to do something. Go down to light heavyweight. Cutelaba is no joke, especially for the first couple minutes at least. But I feel like his wrestling, he's a better wrestler than Rodrigo Nascimento, who was Bozer's last opponent. I feel like he just will be able to just see. Kuchelov is one of those guys where I can't even tell you, he's gonna knock him out or he's gonna submit him. I just feel like Kuchelov is gonna beat him. Because like you're saying, CO first round, Kuchelov is a dog. But I feel like, he always gasses out, right? So Bozer, I don't think he's one of those guys who we're gonna have to worry about Kuchelov gassing out, because if Kuchelov does gas out, Bozer's just not too scary. So I just feel like not too many threats are there for Kuchelaba. And he desperately, desperately needs a win for his career. So I'm riding him.
Yeah. Honestly, they both really need wins, but Kutalaba 3 losses in a row. This is a big fight for him. And then for Bozer, he's lost 3 of his last 4. And one win in the last 4 was the OSP. So we know where he's at right now. Goosey, what's your take?
I'm gonna pick Bozer. I've been doing this thing where I fade Kutalaba, and it's been working out for me. So I'm gonna keep doing it. I think Bozer, he's had a rough go. He's 3-4, but 2 are split decisions. Not the best decision against Ilir Latifi, and then he got absolutely robbed against Andrei Arlovsky. I'll read the stats off here. 0 control time, either side, 0 knockdowns, 0 takedowns. Tanner Bozer outstruck him by at least 10 significant strikes every round and lost a decision. So, interesting. But either way, Bozer, he was a small heavyweight. I don't even think he probably had to take off any weight. He's just gonna actually do a cut. Um, he's tough, good cardio. He's able to get up off his back a little bit, and he's definitely been working on it. So I'm gonna pick the bulldozer, Tanner Bozer, to get it done here.
All right, moving into the next scrap, we got another light heavyweight bout. This is Dustin Jacoby, 18-6-1, coming out against Azamat Mirzakhanov, who is a 12-0 prospect and has been really killing it. I'm really excited to see this match because actually, you know what? I'm going to skip to it right now. I'm taking Azamat in this. Let me just see the size on these guys real quick, because I know that Dustin Jacoby is a massive light heavyweight, and that will play part. Let's see.
5 inches of height and reach for Jacoby.
Okay, so he's got 5 inches on him, which is super significant. I'm gonna ride with it still. I know that Azamat is a super high level striker on the feet, and he loves to dial in those massive power punches. And with a guy like Dustin Jacoby, who is 35 years old, I mean, I know Azamat's 34 himself, but when you're talking about taking power punches, Dustin Jacoby's not exactly the hardest hitting 205er. He's more of a volume. He'll definitely touch you up, do damage to you, but that one shot hitter quitter, that's not exactly what you're thinking about when you think of Dustin Jacoby. And that's exactly what I think about when I think about Azamat. And at this stage in both of their careers, Azamat 12-0, he's looking at this. He's got a lot of confidence. He's kind of surging here. I think Azamat's going to be the one that lands a big shot in this. I don't know if he's going to be winning the fight or losing it. I can honestly see him, being kept back on the end of that jab for the first round or two. But eventually, I see Azamat landing that punch, that big blow on Jacoby on that older chin. So that's what I'm going to take in this one, Azamat. I usually don't like to do that. If I'm ever telling myself that I need something crazy to happen for my guy to win, that's usually my biggest sign to be like, all right, get off of that. But in this one, man, Azamat, he's done it to a guy that I've had a lot of, I sung a lot of praise for at one point. It was Tafon Nchokwi. And he sparked him in the third round down 2-0. So that. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens again. Azamat always live for a finish at any moment, and Jacoby just a little bit too old for me in this matchup. I'm taking Azamat via KO. What do you got, Dano?
What are the odds on this one?
I got no clue. But the Tapology says that Azamat was dropped at plus 170, Jacoby minus 205.
Damn.
So I'm riding the
See,
dog.
I was hoping Jacoby was the dog. That would have made my pick a lot easier. But I'm gonna ride with Jacoby just because I feel like he's kind of like he reminds me a lot of Bobby Green, just the older guy, really good hands, really good on the feet, can survive on the ground. But is a vet of the game, knows how to win. The perks of watching Pereira and Adesanya for the past however many days, weeks, is we see their old highlights, and in the back lurking are always Dustin Jacoby highlights. They were in the kickboxing scenes together. He was always in the rankings. So he does have a lot of experience. So I'm gonna pick him just to get it done. He's kind of a showman. We're going out in front of a crowd. I think Azamat, it's tough, dude. Azamat is a dog, but I just think he can somehow get it done. He just survived a whole fight with Cleo Roundtree. Some say he got robbed, kind of a weird decision, but Cleo Roundtree's no joke. Hits like a truck, kicks like a truck. Um, so I don't think his chin's really going to be an issue in this fight. And just don't swarm him on the ground, Azamat. Please keep it on the feet. And Jacoby's definitely got a chance, so I'm riding him.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Azamat's a pretty stand-up striker himself. So this should be a stand-up banger at 205. What do you got, Goosey?
I'm gonna go with Jacoby. I've been high on Jacoby. I like his kickboxing. I've been calling robbery here, I guess. I called it for Bozier. I called it now for Dustin Jacoby, but he did kind of get robbed his last fight against Khalil Roundtree. Whatever, Roundtree's got very good pop. Azamat's got very good pop. Technically, Azamat's probably a little bit crisper, but a little less of a danger factor as well, I think. And Chukwi was up 2-0, like you said. I think that he is on a low, like striking wise, definitely not the same level as Dustin Jacoby. And this is probably going to be a striking fight. Another thing, I don't know how old Azamat Mirzakhanov is. Some sites are saying he's like 36. Some are saying he's 33. Some say he's 34. It's up in the air, So I can't say that he's going to be much younger than Dustin Jacoby, even though it probably says he is on ESPN or whatever. So I'm going to pick Jacoby here. I think he gets it done by decision.
Fair enough. Yeah, I definitely think that if Azamat can't find that devastating shot, he'll lose a decision for sure. So there's a little hedge play for you. Let's move into this next scrap. We got a good one. This is the co-main. Billy Q, 17-4. What do they call him? The Squid? This guy's elite. This guy is electric. He's coming out against Edson Barboza, 22-11. He's going down at featherweight. So we got two featherweight scraps to end the night. Ooh, this is a really, really tough fight right here to call. This is a really tough fight to call here. I'm probably going to side with Barboza. Just because this is one of those fights for me where it's like you're taking a big step up, Billy Q. Barboza is just so good, man. Nah, dude, this is Goosey. What do you got in this one? I'm gonna sit on this for a second.
I'm gonna go Billy Q. I think the dog factor here. All right, the fact that he's shown that he can go out in the first, take a little bit of a beating, and come back with just absolute tenacity and grit in round 2 and round 3. I think Billy Q round 3 is going to be the official pick for me via TKO. I think he gets it done. I think he finishes Barboza late. All right, Barboza at 145, he's lost a little bit of pop. He's getting older now. He's having big weight cuts. I think Billy the Squid is that dog that's going to go out and get it done. Billy Q via TKO, if you want to get real saucy with it, round 3, that's going to be the play.
Dana, what do you got?
I'm gonna ride with Barbosa, and I want to say Billy Q's last fight, I predicted it to a T. I had a bet on him round 2 or round 3 finish, but definitely finish from Billy Q. And we talked about Alex Hernandez, who's a dog in that first 3 minutes, 4 minutes. He beat the crap out of Billy Q, but then that last bit of the first round, sitting on the stool, coming in the second round, we saw the tides turn. We knew Billy Q was still going to be there, and we knew Alex Hernandez was going to gas. A lot of people will look at Barbosa's last couple fights and go, "Oh, he's gonna gas too. He's getting a little bit older," but he did gas against a heavy grappling fight in Bryce Mitchell, who was constantly over him, swarming him, kind of a little bit suffocating him. I don't think Billy Q's going to do that. Billy Q does have good grappling. He does even have a little bit of good wrestling mixed in there, but I just feel like he is another one of those guys who's a showman. He's man of the people. He might go in there with a game plan to grapple and then say, screw it, let's stand up. And you don't want to stand up with Barbosa. And if he does want to grapple, I'm going to call that he's going to want to grapple too late when he's a little bit hurt. He's going to wobbly go in for takedowns or for the clinch against Barbosa. Barbosa's just going to shove him off and keep it going. I do see Billy Q not getting put out. And we could even see the late Billy Q come back, like Goose was saying, but I just feel like it's going to be a little bit too late. Billy Q is a late starter. He's known to be a little bit. He's weird, dude. He's known to be like a late starter and take damage and then come back. So, how many times does that hit, especially against a stud like Barbosa? Can't forget about the Burgos knockout with Barbosa. So the speed's still there, creativity's still there. And for someone who is a slow starter in Billy Q, you're gonna let Barbosa jump out to a quick lead. That's a tough ask. So I'm riding Barbosa.
Yeah, I made my mind up. I'm also going Barbosa. I just think that the more I think about it, it's hard for Billy Q to get this to where he needs to get it. Like they call him the squid for a reason. He loves to grapple. He could take your back and hold it for 3 rounds straight. But the reality of the matter is Edson Barbosa is elite, and taking him down and not having those crazy wrestling credentials is going to be a tall ask. So I think Barbosa keeps us on the feet and kind of just shows Billy Q like a little bit of levels to the striking game that he needs to go back and work on. I definitely think Billy Q can put it together at some point, become that all around beast, no doubt. But at this point, I think that this Barbosa fight's really going to open his eyes a little bit. So I'm taking Barbosa as well. We're moving into the main event, big one. Max Holloway, 23-7, coming out against Arnold Allen, 19-1. Taking Max Holloway. I'm gonna take him by decision here. I think that he just outclasses him. I don't think that Arnold Allen. This is one of those fights where obviously in my head I can see Arnold Allen doing some crazy shit, but when I put it all together, he always breaks his hands. He's hasn't been in the octagon too actively lately. Like this is like his most active comeback in like 3 or 4 years. And Max Holloway's still that guy. You could say whatever you want, but Volk is a GOAT. And just the fact that, he couldn't beat Volk, you can't really take much from him. Volk just showed us that he could beat Islam Makhachev at 55. I mean, that decision easily could have went his way. So Max Holloway, I think he's the more reliable pick in this. Obviously hands team 6. This guy's got boxing for days. Arnold Allen loves a good stand-up fight. So in a fight that you can assume will be standing up, it's definitely safe to assume Max Holloway will win. So I'm going to take Max Holloway to keep this fight on the feet. And you know what? He even flashed wrestling against what's his face? Pantera.
Here.
Yeah,
Pantera.
Pantera.
Yeah.
Yair Rodriguez. He was starting to lose the stand-up in that fight. What'd he do? Flip the switch, champion mindset. He became a wrestler, won the rounds he needed to win. Max Holloway, if that becomes the case, he can do that. He has that switch. Max Holloway, I'm taking him in this match. Dano, what's your take?
I'm with you, dude. I like Holloway, and Allen is very scary, but I just can't. Something about him, I just can't trust him. I have a weird, suspicious feeling that he's just gonna gas out. And it'll be one of those fights where maybe he wins the first 2 rounds, Holloway sneaks the third, and then we're like, oh crap, Allen looks real tired. He looks real tired in the fourth, and then the fifth, it's just Holloway putting a clinic on him. I think main event really helps Holloway, and like you were saying, the breaking of the hands is another thing. I'll be interested to see how he holds up in this one. Yeah, I wish we would have got to see that Calvin Kattar Arnold Allen fight just because I'm trying to think in my head right now, like just what Allen does in there. And we just really haven't seen him too much. He finished Hooker real early. Cater one was weird. He's not the most active guy. So I just feel like the experience of Holloway, the main event experience of Holloway will come to fruition in this one.
Yeah, this is definitely a tall tale for Arnold Allen, who's a guy that's literally riding right now. What is this? A 12-fight win streak. This guy is streaking, but we'll see what he looks like in these later rounds, because if anybody knows anything about fighting or Max Holloway, you know that this guy doesn't go down. So interesting there. Goosey, what's your final take here? Wrap us up.
I'm going with Max Holloway. A little bit nervous because Allen does have some pop, and Holloway's been at the top of the game for 11 years. This is an unforgiving sport. That's over a decade. I know he came in at 20 and he's only 31 now, but I don't know. I'm still gonna ride with him though. He's saying the right thing stylistically. If he hasn't fallen off, this is a good matchup for him. He'll be able to take the power early. Arnold might win the first round. I could see like a round 4 TKO for Max Holloway, to be honest. I think he's gonna have something to prove here. He's got the volume. Arnold Allen, like you said, he breaks his hands. And if you're getting into a war of attrition with Max Holloway, you don't want to break that moneymaker, that power left. Arnold Allen, we've seen him slow down in the third round of fights. All right. He always has a solid first 2. That third round starts to get dicey. We haven't seen him in a 5-rounder. And I mean, we know what we're going to get with Max Holloway. He's been a massive favorite. Like, he was like minus 700 against Yair. This one's actually doable. It's like minus 180, I think. So I'm going to pick Holloway. Wouldn't be surprised with a TKO, but young, tough guy in Arnold Allen. I could see like a 49-46 decision for Holloway, losing the first, winning the last 4.
Yeah, what's difficult to think about is Max Holloway literally leads the UFC in like significant strikes absorbed, and Arnold Allen literally leads the UFC in breaking his hand with power shots on people's heads. So weird mix there. Let's hope that no devastating blows land to the kid, because we are swept on Max Holloway. Let's get it. Those are the picks and predictions. If you didn't catch our Geeks vlog, we were just in Miami. Run that through. Let's go.
Run it up.
Geeks to the moon. Let's get it. Shout out Jorge. We out.